Hello everyone, I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be breaking down our next matchup for UFC Noche. In this one, we have a battle of two former title challengers at strawweight, as Tatiana Suarez takes on Amanda Lemos. In her career, Suarez is 10-1 overall, 4-1 in her last 5, while Lemos is 15-4-1, 3-2 in her last 5. Before I continue though, I have some problems. Mostly in this, why is this on the prelims? Say what you want about the women's division and all, but this is the only fight on the card with top 5 fighters. I understand it's not the main event, and, it shouldn't be, but still, at worst, I would think this would be the featured fight on the main card. Or even worse, at least the featured prelim. I guarantee you, though, these two women will at least put on a much better show, and at least more high level than, Jose Mendia versus Tuskos Todorovic, or Joaquin Silva versus Claudio Puez, which are the two fights above it. It just kind of baffles me. And, like I said, I got some problems with where Mendia versus Tuskos is placed. I don't have a problem with the fight, but I have problems where it's placed. But, discussion for another day. But right now, I don't know. I just have problems with the bout order in this. I don't think these two ladies should be here. I think it's borderline disrespectful. But with that kind of rant out of the way, let me go to the fight. Suarez is easily, bar none, one of the best grapplers in women's MMA. Certainly the best wrestler, at least the most credentialed wrestler. Now, who's the best grappler in women's MMA? There's certainly many who can debate that. You got Rose, you got Zhang Weili herself, because she's shown to use really good grappling and wrestling as of late. Shevchenko, Kayla Harrison, Berna Jandudoba, and Mackenzie Dern. Dern may have her issues, but on paper, she's one of the best pure grapplers in women's MMA. But at least if we're looking at just wrestling, especially credentialed wrestling, Suarez is the best. Now, looking at her last 5, this spans from 2025 to 2018, because slews of injury has just put a detriment in Suarez's career, where she's never really been able to leverage her prime time, as she's blown every damn tendon in her knee, to sickness, to you name it. Really, a lot of things have just really fucked up her progress in order to get to the title at the time. But when she gets into the cage, she's dominant. She has a win over Alexa Grasso, a win over Carla Esparza, a win over Jessica Andrade in one of her last 5 fights. She's been 3 former champions now. And at time, she's dominating each one of them. Like I said, looking at her last 5, TKO of Carla Esparza, beat Nina Nunes, then took a 4-year gap with because of injuries and illness. Then when she came back, submitted Montel De La Rosa, submitted Jessica Andrade. Now that was about 2 years ago of her last win. Now they tried to book her with fights, right? In 2024, she was actually scheduled to fight Lemos back at UFC 298, and was supposed to schedule against Berna Jandudoba at UFC 310 last December. But again, twice she had to pull out due to injuries, so at that point the UFC just figured, okay, she has world-class skills, and overall, seems worth the filler to at least see what she could do against Zhang Weili. So they gave her the title shot. I wasn't mad at it, and I thought it made sense at the time. Undefeated, the number 1 contender. I don't know why she was the favorite at the time. It made no sense, but, be that as it may. Unfortunately, it's just, at UFC 312 this February, Zhang Weili was just on another level, but she's on another level against just about everybody if you're not Rose Namajunas. While Suarez had her moment in round 1 where she was able to get the takedown off a lunging punch from Weili, after that, the next 20 minutes were just one-way traffic, from stuffing the takedowns, reversing position. She denied, 1 out of 15 takedown attempts, and for Suarez, only 1 attempt, while Weili got about all of her takedowns. Now, most of them were reversal, but still, it's just it comes to question, is Suarez shot? Was she really that good? Or was Zhang Weili just better? I lean towards the latter. I think Zhang Weili is better, and she's one of the best, if not the best, female fighter in the world right now. Meanwhile, Amanda Lemos is probably one of the most dangerous strawweights on the roster. Just simply her technical / brawling striking style and her power. She is one of the hardest hitting strawweights in that roster. Quite frankly, it's like Nunes in her division, and like some fighters say it and some analysts say it. She hits like a dude, or at least has the power of a man. And just the way she's hurting these girls is so impressive. Like, I've seen her drop them with a jab. Or just rock them while they're still on their feet, clearly dazed. Now look at her last fight. She beat Marina Rodriguez to get a title shot. Lost it in one-sided fashion to Zhang Weili. She had one moment, literally just one moment, where she got a pretty neat submission from side control while she was on bottom. But other than that, Weili just put on a wrestling clinic. Then she beat Mackenzie Dern at UFC 298. Pretty bumped back and forth fight. Then got submitted by Verna via an armbar. Now, and then in her most recent fight at UFC 313, impressively, more or less, pivot to her wrestling to give Yasmin Lucindo a veteran lesson. Like, honestly, I picked her to win, but I thought she would just mainly use her striking. I didn't expect her to just out-wrestle Yasmin so dominantly. That being said, she has a clear weakness, though. Any strawweight who matches her in physicality and is vastly superior in wrestling will beat her. Like, I know Dern was clearly a better grappler than her, but she doesn't have the wrestling to take down Lemos, unlike Jan Dudoba, who took her down, found the armbar, or Andrade, who just bullied her and then got the standing arm triangle. And even probably her most easily displayed, Weili, just simply as strong as her, so much better wrestling. And you think, that is a path to victory for Suarez. She's big girl herself, 5'5", 566-inch reach. I definitely see her getting, her striking is a work in progress, but it's still somewhat a means to an end. Get close, get the takedown, or shoot for the takedown, and then it's her world from there. And I definitely see that as happening. And the odds themselves reflect this, and they're huge, Minus 425 for Suarez, plus 330 for Lemos. Like, they're not giving Lemos a fucking chance in this fight. Now, that being said, I believe in never say never in fighting. And I can definitely see a world where Lemos lands one of her big power hooks or overhands and just knocks Suarez off her feet, hurts her, finds the TKO. Submission, unlikely. Lemos has some good jokes and she's got a good guillotine, but Michelle Waterson ain't Tatiana Suarez. She ain't. So, I don't see her getting caught in submission, and 9 out of 10 times, I see Suarez dominating on the ground than I do see Lemos finding the perfect shot. Because at the end of the day, Suarez is pretty durable. She took some bombs from Weili, especially in the third round. There was that one perfect right cross, which just shook her to the core. I thought she was going to drop because it hurt her so bad. But, yeah, Suarez got real good, pretty good durability. And overall, this is her fight. I think it's her fight to lose. If she loses to Lemos, I think she's washed, to be honest. I just don't see her really doing the sport anymore. She loses to Lemos because she should beat her. I'm being honest. With her skill set and the attributes she has, she's the tailor-made to beat Amanda Lemos. But if she is washed, if she just can't move her body like she used to, if her wrestling's declined, then Lemos can pick her apart at the feet and, I think, get to a finish. But I don't see it happen. I'm picking Tatiana Suarez. I think she can get the submission. Ground and pound, certainly a possibility, and I see submission and TKO pretty much even 50-50, however you want to see it, but I lean towards submission over TKO. So, that is who I'm leaning with. Going Suarez, TKO. If you like the video, comment and subscribe. Next up, we will have Claudio Puelles versus Joaquim Silva. But until then, I have been Bo from Brutal Commentary. I thank you all for listening. Take care.